So welcome to all the BSc second year students for the semester 4. Uh, the paper title of the paper is Plant Physiology. So in the last class we have discussed regarding the water absorption by plants, or absorption of water by plants, how the plants absorb waters. Then another important aspects in this bit is absorption of mineral salts by plants, how the plant absorb water and minerals. Earlier there was a consideration that the minerals or inorganic elements were absorbed by plants along with water, but later on it is came to conclusion that these are the two independent process. So as we know, plants are having a positively geotrophic organs which are present in the soil, which are mainly responsible for to hold the plants in the soil and absorb water and minerals which are required for plant further growth and development. So how these plants absorb water? As we know, there are certain plants are there whose height is about 300 feet. Is there what type of mechanism? Whether there is a electrical machineries in these plants to pull the water from soil to top level of the plants, or which mechanism involved during absorption of water and minerals. So already I have mentioned these are the two different processes. These are the two independent processes, that is absorption of inorganic elements as well as water. So these root system, so there is a taproot system and adventitious root system. In monocots, most of the monocots are having adventitious type of root system, and in case of dicot there is a taproot system. In taproot system there is a prominent roots with a root cap. On that there is a presence of hair-like structures. They are known as root hairs. So these root hairs are with the contact with water which is present in the soil. They are contact with the water which is present in the soil. So these root hairs plays a very important role for the absorption of water. And so the mineral salts, the inorganic elements which are present in the soils, are absorbed by a taproot system, or here this is the taproot system, and at the terminal the root cap, the portion which lies in between this portion of the root is mainly responsible for absorption of minerals in the form of ions or inorganic elements. So while discussing the mechanism of absorption of water, there are two processes or the two important phenomena or process evolved during absorption of water, that is active absorption of water and passive absorption of water. So active absorption of water and passive absorption of water. So before going to the mechanism of active absorption of water and passive absorption of water, just you have to understand the meaning of what is meant by active absorption of water. So active absorption of water means absorption of water by plants using metabolic energy in the form of ATP molecules. It is known as active absorption of water. Then passive absorption of water means absorption of water by plants without using any metabolic energy is known as passive absorption of water. Again, in active absorption of water, again there are two types, that is osmotically active absorption of water and non-osmotic active absorption of water. Osmotic active absorption of water. So what is meant by osmotic active absorption of water and what is meant by non-osmotic active absorption of water? Non-osmotic active. The meaning itself indicates that osmotically means osmotic gradient, osmotic pressure, turgor pressure plays a very important role during this process. For example, you have to consider this is a plant where a taproot system, then above there is a root, xylem, then leaf, xylem, they connected to each other. The osmotic gradient of root hairs, the epidermis of taproot system, cortex, endodermis, and xylem of this is the transverse section or longitudinal section of this root and root hairs, which shows the pathway of water osmotically. For example, you have to consider this is the soil water zone. Soil means these are the root hairs. By the process of imbibition, simply the walls of these root hairs absorb water, where the osmotic pressure of the root hair cells is always lower than higher than the soil cell. Then automatically osmotically water enters into the root hairs. Then when the water enters into root hairs, then again the osmotic pressure of the epidermal cells of the root is higher than the root hair cells. Then therefore osmotically water goes from root hairs to epidermal cells. Likewise, the osmotic pressure of cortical cells, endodermal cells, and xylem cells is higher when compared to root hairs. So in this way osmotically water goes from root hairs to the topmost level of the plants, and while moving this water osmotically, while absorbing water osmotically, the metabolic energy is utilized in the form of ATP molecules, therefore known as osmotically active absorption of water. Sometimes what happens, even though against the osmotic gradients, means whatever the water content is there in the soil solution in the soil, the much more concentration of water may be present in the plant body. Means even though, for example, you have to consider root hairs, so the osmotic pressure of the root hairs is lower when compared to the osmotic pressure of the soil solution. Even though that condition, there will be absorption of water by using metabolic energy, therefore it is known as non-osmotically active absorption of water. Non-osmotically active absorption of water. So these are the two things very important: osmotically active absorption of water, non-osmotically active absorption of water. So after getting the clear idea regarding these two things, what is the passive absorption of water? Passive means here there is no role of osmotic pressure, turgor pressure of root hairs, epidermal cells, cortex cells, and xylem cells or endodermal cells. So as you know, in plants, due to the transpiration process, the transpiration pool is developed from top of the leaves to root hair cells, and that creates the tension in the plants, in the cells of the plants, and automatically as a capillary actions, water absorbed by plants, and that transpiration pool creates a tension. With the help of this tension, automatically without involvement of these living cells, without using of any metabolic energy, water is absorbed by plants. So here the transpiration pool is very important. Transpiration pool is very important for the absorption of water. Therefore it is known as passive absorption of water. Passive means without any involvement of root hair cells, roots, taproot system, xylem vessels, there will be absorption of water, therefore will be known as passive absorption of water. So these two things are very important here in water absorption. There are certain theories are there, transpiration pool theories, which explains absorption of water by plants. That is also a very easy one. So then later on, the second aspect of this chapter is, that is absorption of minerals or inorganic elements by plants. So already I have mentioned that the taproot system just above the root cap is responsible for absorption of water. Here also again there is absorption of water, absorption of minerals. There is active absorption of minerals and passive absorption of minerals. To prove the active absorption of minerals and passive absorption of minerals, there are certain theories are there. So these theories are nothing but, that is carrier concept theory and Donald's equilibrium theory. Carrier concept theory and Donald's equilibrium theories. So what is meant by carrier concept theory? What is meant by Donald's equilibrium theories? How these two theories proves the active and passive absorption of inorganic elements by plants. They proves with the help of these two theories we can explain the mechanism of absorption of inorganic elements by plants. With this we have completed this chapter, and now next chapter we are going to be dealing here is, that is macro mineral elements and their physiological role and deficiency symptoms in plants. So that is also one of the important. Already we have discussed regarding what is meant by macro elements, what is meant by micro elements, which are the macro elements, which are the micro elements. That is inorganic elements, that is nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, iron, zinc, molybdenum. So these are the inorganic elements which are required by plants for their growth. Macro means the plants which are required inorganic elements in large quantities, they are known as macro elements, and the elements which are required by plants very little in quantities, they are known as micro elements or trace elements. That is zinc, molybdenum, cobalt, copper. So these are the micro elements, means they require plants very in little quantities for their growth and developments, therefore they are known as micro elements. So these inorganic elements, what are these physiological role? How these elements plays an important role for the growth and development of plants, and the deficiency, what are the deficiency symptoms in plants of these macro elements. Already we have discussed, and that is very simple one. And after that, with this we are going to discuss a very important chapter, that is photosynthesis, and that there is a big syllabus is there, and many biochemical reactions are there. You have to remember the stepwise all these reactions, then only you will be able to describe that particular aspect. So today I am going to stop here. Thank you, one and all.